we've finished knitting our piece and we are now at the making up section of the pattern. Obviously my piece is very small because it's just a sample piece, so when I kind of go like this to make a seam, it looks like a little tiny hot water bottle cover, but yours will not look like this. Doesn't matter, because the stitch that we're going to use, mattress stitch, is going to be worked in exactly the same way. So if you're not familiar with mattress stitch, it is fabulous stitch for joining seams because it is nigh on invisible, and especially even if you didn't get it quite right in this beautiful yarn, you wouldn't see the join anyway. But mattress stitch, even if you're working really fine yarn, fine one coloured yarn, it is magical because it's invisible. So let's have a look at how we're going to do it. I've got a great big long length of yarn here. Don't worry if you kind of run out halfway, you can easily join more in. And I've thread my darning needle ready to go. I'm going to join the yarn right at this bottom corner of the left side. Sorry, what I've got my right side on the desk and wrong side pointing up, and I've brought my two edges together. So we're working on the right side here. And I'm just going to join my yarn right at the very corner. Just be a little bit gentle with this because it is a lovely pure wool, so it does break quite easily. But you just need to secure it. Okay. And I'm saying this because this is take number 2, because I just got in a big knot and it fell to bits. So here we go. We are secure. There's a little bit there which I can sew over or sew in. Don't worry about it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take my needle over to the opposite side and I'm going to work, I'm going to see that edge stitch. Can you see that sort of edge stitch running up? I'm going to work just to the right of that edge stitch. Okay, so I'm just going to put my needle I'm going to be following this kind of line up and just trying to work just inside, just outside that edge stitch as I go up. So I'm going to take my needle from front to back, right in this corner. I'm going to actually go, you can see the edge, the cast on edge here. I'm just going to go sort of over the, shall I go into the, no, I'm going to go over the top of the cast on edge. And can you see, if I put my needle like that, can you see there is a bar there? That bar is the stitches going across. I'm going to come up under 2 of those and bring my yarn through. Oh, I've got another knot. Be careful, Emma, be careful. The key to this is to match on each side what you've done on the other side. So I've come up under 2 bars, and what I'm going to do is come back over to the left side and do exactly the same there. So I'm going to bring my needle from front to back. It's under there actually. Let me just see where my 2 bars are. I'm going to go front to back. I think it's there and there. Under 2 bars and bring it up. Okay, gentle, gentle with the beautiful yarn. At the moment, it's tremendously visible. Don't worry about it. Don't pull it tight just yet. I'm going to take my needle again and go back into the hole where I came out last time. So back into the place where the yarn came out last time. You can see that, can't you? And go up and under 2 bars again. And pull my yarn through. I'm going to go over to the other side and do exactly the same thing. I'm going to go in where I came out and go up and under 2 bars. Now, if I keep doing this and make sure I'm going under the same number of bars on both sides, my edges are going to match beautifully. If you get out of sync, don't worry, just make an adjustment. Maybe go under 1 on one side so you can catch up on the other or whatever. So I'm coming back over into where I came out, up and under 2 bars. All right, I'm just going to do one more and then I'm going to gently pull that together so you can see what happens. So back over to the other side, in where I came out, up and under 2 bars. Right, now if I very gently give this, I'll put my needle down, give it a little pull, very gently. Can you see those stitches that I've made, those mattress stitches, disappear. And that you just can't see it. Every time I do this, I feel like I've performed some sort of magic and that I really need to be put on some sort of pedestal in this house. It never happens, but that's how I feel. I mean, you just can't see it. That is all you're going to do all the way up. Now, I appreciate when you get up here, you might find it a bit trickier because bars are different. But if you come, if you keep those rules of putting your needle in where it came out, working just on that edge, so, or just so you've got one edge stitch either side, if you see what I mean. So I've got one edge stitch to the left when I'm on this side, I'm going to have one edge stitch to the right when I'm on the other. If you continue with those rules, so needle in where you've come out and go up the same number of stitches or bars, or like I said, when we get here, we'll have a look at what we can go up there. If you continue like that, it will still be invisible. Okay, it will still be invisible because what you're doing is you're effectively kind of lacing a corset type situation. So you're pulling those edges together and the stitches or the laces disappear. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Let me do a few more and we'll get into one of these and see where we can put our needle there. Right, I'm just working into the triangles, the edge triangles now, and I've still got bars, so there's no need to worry about changing. If I have a look here, you can see I've come under one bar, can you see that? And I'm now going to go under 2 bars. So I'm still continuing with my 2 bars all the way. So that's good. What we're going to get when yeah, so we're edge triangles, I think, all the way up. So you can 2 bar all the way up. So I'm going to just get up to, I'm going to mattress stitch all the way up until I get to halfway up the collar. So I'm going to just get halfway up the collar and then I'm going to stop. So I'll see you when I get there. Can we just take a moment to appreciate that? Thank you. So I have worked all the way up to halfway up the collar section. And I'm going to stop there because what I want to show you, I mean, you can see it is brilliant. You can't see the join at all on the right side. If I show you inside, however, you can see that it creates this sort of ridged seam where the edges have been brought together, and these are the outside stitches, you know, one stitch, you know, where we said we were going to just work with one outside stitch either side of our mattress stitch, which is fab. But because when we turn our collar down, we don't really want a great big seam showing on the outside, do we? We don't really want that big lump, that big lump coming through to the outside. So when we get to the point where we're going to turn our collar down, we're going to reverse the mattress stitch. We're not going to do it from this side, we're going to do it from the inside. So you can, if you want, you can cast off here and join again and come up from the bottom. Or, because I'm far too lazy for any of that malarkey, I'm just going to turn mine upside down, thusly, and I am going to bring my needle through from what is the front to the back. There we go. Okay, which now becomes the right side that I want to join. I'm just going to carry on like so. Now it is a bit tricky to see, and again it's so small because my piece is so small. You're going to have a lot more to play with, and you could deploy a pin if you wish, but you know, I like to struggle, folks, so we'll carry on. Right, so I've turned through and I'm just going to pick up and carry on where I was before. So going under 2, still going under those 2 bars and coming up and coming under 2 bars I might have gone a little bit too far over, but that's okay. As long as I carry on the same track, under 2. Once I get a little bit round this curve, I'm going to stop and make sure I'm lining up all right. Okay. Last stitches, I think. There, and come up through there. Oh, I do love this. And I'm just going to turn to the wrong side so you can see my my seam has gone from being invisible to being visible there, because I'm going to turn it back so it's invisible again. And I'm just going to fasten off my yarn here. It's a bit wonky, this last bit, because I was not really looking, but you never know. Just fasten that off a little bit. Okay, let's right, so it's very thin. I've always wanted a swan-like neck, but even if I did have, I wouldn't fit in this. But it's just, you can use your imagination and imagine how that's going to look on your full-size one. So I'm going to turn that over, turn my neck down. A collar, I must call it a collar. Do you know, I completely love it, even though it looks like a little... It's just beautiful. I love it, love it. That is the end of all the techniques. And I'm immediately going to go and cast the real one of these on, because I have loved every second of this, all of this. I've loved the yarn, the needles. I've loved chatting to you, so it's really wonderful. The last thing I'm going to say before I go is read the note on blocking. All you're going to do for this, because you want all this lovely texture, you want all of the weaves and the waves going on with this one, just block it out to the size you want it to be. So if you know, if I pull it like this, if I block it like this, it will stay like that. It won't be sort of as scrunched up. It will be a little bit more open if that is how you want it. Pin it out on your ironing board. That's the perfect place for this particular project. Pin it out and lay a wet towel over it, because you know what that means, your ironing board is out of use then until it's dried. So you know that's got to be a winner. Put the wet towel over the cowl and leave it to completely dry, and then it will be ready to wear. So I hope you've enjoyed the box. I hope you've enjoyed the videos. Thanks for sticking with us, and thanks so much for your support. We really do appreciate all of you. So enjoy your Entrelac capelet.